part of why Brigitte is suing me, because she's saying
Hmm.
that my podcast was successful only
Yep.
because I found out that she has a penis, right? Like, it can't be everyone keeps.
What's up, YouTube? It's your Huckleberry here, back with another video. So we got another reaction about how weird Erika Kirk's being. This one is from the Hodge Twins, who you've seen me react to before, hopefully, and none other than Candace Owens, who does not hold her tongue about Erika Kirk. So without further ado, let's get into this video and let's see what's going on here as far as commentary and opinions on just the awkwardness that is one Erika Kirk. All right, I think we got a real good episode for you today.
Hodge Twins Podcast. Yes. After his death, everyone noticed, the left and the right, how Erika was grieving. Like at his funeral, when she came out to those pyrotechnics and the way she was dressed, I bit my tongue. I thought it was weird, but everybody grieves differently, and I fed into that. Everybody grieves differently. I don't think anybody grieves like that.
It's one of these things, these like psychological tricks, pardon, that they always argue in the extremities, right? So it's like everybody when they're growing up, like, you're a girl or you're a boy when you're born, right? And then they'll be like, but what about this percentage of people that are actually born and they're hermaphrodite? That therefore means that, gender dysphoria is real because this could have happened. And you're like, whoa, please stop arguing in the extremes. Like, you
Right.
are not an exception. Where
Right.
there is this whole realm of rules, and let's stop arguing with the exceptions, okay?
Right.
Personally, the only exception that I have seen to the rule of grieving in this manner with the pyrotechnics and the glitter and the laughter is Erika. Now, I've seen other ways of grieving, as in people who just, don't want to be seen for a while,
Right.
or people who drink. There's all of these other ways that people grieve, people who get into drugs, whatever it is. But generally, we recognize as humans what is within the realm of normal grieving. And this was the first time I've seen it done in this way. Especially when you add into the fact that this was a public execution, and the entire world had a normal spiritual response to that, as we discussed earlier. We would therefore expect, since people who did not know Charlie could not get out of bed, that you would perhaps expect that of his wife. And then if you remove that part, if you remove the CEO, maybe, okay, some people want to throw themselves into work. It certainly helps me to get back to some sense of normalcy, not in that regard of wanting to become the CEO of a chairman of a company. But even if you removed all of that, I think the part that no one can make an excuse for is not instantly worrying about the safety of your kids.
Right.
If you
right.
just watch your husband be assassinated and you realize my kids only have one parent left, and I don't know how this happened, your natural instinct is to not leave your children's side.
Right. Great
And
point.
so I think that to me was the loudest part. You have your pyrotechnics, say you want to be the CEO, but to be present and at the office every day, days later, that doesn't track.
Right. Yeah. You released a voicemail of Erika talking to, I forget who she was talking to, but she was sharing some of the financials over the funeral of Charlie and how much money they made. It sounds like she was gloating about the money, and she didn't really care about. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just like you was happy about the money and how good it went, and your husband's past it's like you almost forgot about your husband because it was a financial success.
So I just tell you how I experienced that call. I was spiritually disturbed by it. That's the
Yeah.
truth. And everyone.
Zoom call shows Erika Kirk speaking with staff days after Charlie Kirk's assassination, cheerfully discussing memorial attendance, merchandise sales, and performance metrics. Oh wow, that was just within days. Yeah, this is a tough one. Before we go back to the video, it's a tough one to kind of swallow. I'm in it with the Hodge twin that said, everybody kind of grieves differently, and you just kind of latch on and feed into that and let that kind of like govern your explanation. But then when you start peeling off the layers, like Candace is so great at doing, you start to realize these things like, wearing all white, or, putting the kids to the maybe to the back burner, so to speak, or the awkward Instagram video that she posted next to Charlie's corpse, where she's like holding his hand or something, and then online sleuths started pointing out that didn't even look like his hand because it was smaller, but it's a whole nother rabbit hole. But it's just awkward that you would do that. There's a lot of things like mannerisms and the way she was acting. You kind of can put off a lot of it to that idea that people react differently, but then at a certain point, you just is like, man, that's just really weird. Maybe she's just putting on a show. She's just, it's a facade. She's got to maintain this attitude, but like Candace is saying, like the safety of the kids and stepping back, and this is just days later. It's just really bizarre. Let Candace keep talking though.
One was didn't need to contextualize the call. The call was, this is 11 days, not even 2 weeks after your husband was assassinated.
11 days.
Are referring to the memorial as the event of the century and discussing how much money you made off of selling T-shirts and hats. And then it almost felt like it was obligatory for her to then realize, like, oh, I should say something about Charlie. And it's like, oh, Charlie's dancing in heaven. He's like, get to work. And then, he's up there and he's like, more hats. I feel like if he's up there, he's probably like, please figure out what happened to me. Because they're lying to you, obviously, if we're doing that. Right. So that contrast and sort of what I really felt from it was emotional manipulation. They were manipulating people to think that it was almost like divine, that they're a part of this turning point family, and we've experienced this together. And the best way that we can cope with this tragedy is to work harder and to work longer days and weekends and 20 hours, because that's what Charlie would want. Like, that's what makes Charlie dance in heaven. It made me feel disgusted to listen to it, if I'm being frank.
Right.
As even if you didn't know Charlie, that was the general feeling.
Yeah,
and
like
except for the media, who keeps trying to tell us.
Yeah, screw the hats, screw the money. I'd rather have my husband. That's
right.
I'm like, why are you even saying these things?
I was even expecting, like, okay, if you're going to say, like, if that's me and I'm like, I'm going to get to work.
I didn't really know that the merchandising aspect of it. I wouldn't go so far as to feel like I was disgusted by the way she was acting, but I was definitely put off by it and thought it was really weird.
And for me, I then got obsessed because at first I couldn't watch the clip. My husband didn't let me watch it. So I saw the clip from afar of him getting shot, but I did not see the clip of him up close. And I'm glad he didn't let me watch that, because I wasn't, I couldn't have dealt with that. It was a lot. Then I watched it obsessively, and I watched every single angle, and I organized, this angle from the side, left. And so my work was dedicated to trying to figure out what happened that day, who was there, what are the names of the people. Even if she had jumped on that call, the one that was 5 days later, before the event, and said, here's what we're going to do. Like the events team, I want a list of every person that was there. I want, this, I want that. I want to know every single minute. Terrell, you bring me the tapes. Then I would say, okay, she's getting to work to solve who killed her husband.
Right.
But it wasn't that. Right. It was like, I fully accept the narrative on day 5. Here's what we're going to do. We got to plan for the memorial. That's missing. You can't skip that process. You can't.
Especially when there's so many weird things that took place on that day.
Skip it. And looking at Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's wife, she went through all of the right emotions. She was suing everybody. She was angry. Right. She was aggrieved. There were no pyrotechnics at the memorial event.
Right.
Even the differences in her speech, like Erika is talking about turning point, what turning point's going to be. You didn't get to learn who Charlie was in that speech. It was like he was just a company. And Vanessa's speech, she speaks about her daughter and all the things she's going to miss about her daughter, things that we didn't know about Kobe. Like, we were invited into that because we knew him as a basketball player, but this was her husband, and she spoke about what it was like.
This is an interesting comparison. It was really sad when Kobe died. I remember that's one of those things where I remember when I heard about it, because he was one of those kind of larger than life figures. Um, so this, I hadn't heard this kind of comparison, but she makes a good point.
Not knowing that she wasn't going to be there when Gianna got married. And I say to people, you should challenge yourself to go watch Vanessa's speech and then compare it to Erika's memorial speech, and you will see what is missing here.
Right. Yeah. Right. It doesn't seem real. But the way you explained yourself, and like I just wanted to show the human side of you, because I see the attacks people are trying to make on you. Is like you genuinely want to find out who killed your best friend. That's the vibe I get, and from what I see from the people on the right, I mean, I'm not even gonna call them on the right. I would say Zionist, Israel First Republicans.
But I think it's if you were getting 10,000 views and wasn't making any money while you were doing it, I don't think they would have a problem. I think they're pretty much pissed off at your success.
Yeah.
But you were having a lot of great success before this Charlie Kirk incident happened.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that was, they have nothing to judge me on, and that's what they're really upset with. Is these are the people that actually tried to grift off of his death. They sold.
I don't attribute any of Candace's success off of Charlie Kirk's death. She was already a boss before he even got shot. It didn't happen yet. But then this, like her doing a deep dive and going into this and stirring the pot and ruffling feathers definitely got more attention on her. But she was already going to be who she is.
T-shirts, they sold hats. I mean, Turning Point USA made $250 million in a couple of months. Ooh. So it's just stunning that Erika sits up on Fox News and she says to people that are making tens and thousands of dollars on YouTube, okay, $250 million grift. Like, are you kidding me? In a couple of months? Like, that's just wild to me, because they were referring to YouTubers even that were speaking about like the ballistic ones that were going viral. She's like, do you understand how much money they're making? I'm like, yeah, no, actually, do you understand how much money they're making? Because it's a drop in the bucket compared to what Turning Point USA has made. Like, they're trying to make it seem like everybody on YouTube now went from making $0 to hundreds of thousands of dollars or something like that, which couldn't be further from the truth. Our podcast was already top 10 globally.
Right. Yeah, that's what
I'm saying. This is part of why Brigitte is suing me, because she's saying that my podcast was successful only because I found out that she has a penis, right? Like, it can't be everyone to keep saying this. When I did the Kamala Chronicles and we were top 3 globally, at the end of last year, Kamala. They were like, "Oh, it's only because of the election." And then when the Blake Lively series went viral, and Blake Lively's people issued a statement, it was like, "Oh, it's only because of Blake Lively." It's Blake like, calm down, like, calm down, narcissist. It's because I'm dedicated to investigating things that I'm passionate about, and you could not have stumbled upon something that I am going to be more passionate about than finding out what happened to Charlie, because. And I explained this to my husband. It felt like there was a part of my political life, like a political innocence, that died with Charlie.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I go back to this, looking back at these texts of, oh my God, Charlie, Don Jr. just followed me. Eric Trump just followed me on Instagram.
Right.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, in the future, we might be invited to speak on CPAC stage. Like, we sound like kids. And because we were, in a way, we were political kids. And we didn't understand how deep and how evil and I guess how dangerous politics could become.
Yeah.
And so
it takes a while to figure that out too, guys. Like, I was all about the climate change and voting for Al Gore and all that stuff. I was, even through Obama, it took a while. It wasn't until, Trump comes out and he tries to make it obvious to people, talking about fake news and all that kind of stuff, that, like, the veil starts to get pulled back some about just how corrupt and how crazy politics really is.
I had to mourn that too. Like, this was recognition that this actually happened, and the people who should be protecting Charlie and who he gave his life to are silent. So, you stumbled upon, you already knew I liked to investigate evil, and then you committed an act of evil that was personal to me. So, surprise, I'm here.
Well, there you go, guys. That was interesting to hear her talk on a little bit like more grounded level with the Hodge twins, like they were saying, letting people see that she's not like this crazy, investigative monster that's taking advantage of this situation. I mean, that was one of her best friends, and she was already you know, up there in the top echelon of investigative reporters, on YouTube. Hope you liked the video, guys. We're going to call it here, and we're going to do another video for you soon. So hopefully we'll see you then. You're a daisy if you do. Peace.